Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And my name's Adam Berry. I'm known as the Gym Starter. And today I've got a fantastic video for you all about how to deal with the scale and mainly improve your relationship with the scale. Myself and a client of mine, we did a 30-day challenge of stepping on the scale each and every day. And the purpose of that was to try and demonstrate to my particular client that the scale is just data. All you're doing is gathering data. And I wanted to somehow expose her to the scale so much so that she removed herself from the emotion that she went through every time she stepped on the scale. That's what this video is about. I'm going to take you through the full 30 days and how you manage yourself through those 30 days if it is something you want to try and do. I hope you enjoy. My client who decided to undertake this challenge with me, she's a wonderful person. I've worked with her for 2 to 3 years, and she never knew her weight ever for 2 years. She embroiled herself in the fact that whatever the scale said, and she knew it wouldn't be what she wanted it to say. She just knew that. But whatever it said, it was a comment on failure. It was a comment on her self-esteem, her self-confidence. And she protected herself from having a negative effect on all of those things by not stepping on the scale for 2 years. We used to go to the gym and I used to weigh her. It was a Friday afternoon, which isn't ideal because you really want to be weighing yourself in the mornings. And if you're going to do something like this, weigh yourself in the mornings after you have a poo and before you drink anything. That's when you want to weigh yourself. So we'd have to do it on a Friday afternoon in the gym. I'd huddle over the scale so she didn't see it. I'd read it, I'd write it down. And she had no idea. And I just had to keep a straight face no matter what it said. So I wanted to introduce her to the idea of stepping on the scale every day because it excited me, but also because I thought it'd be good for her. I thought it'd help her improve her relationship with the scale. You can't improve your relationship with anything unless you spend time with it, unless you work hard to understand it. And if you're watching this, then I hope that you have a good relationship with the scale, but chances are you don't. And if you don't, you need to understand that by learning how it works, spending time with it, putting effort in and time, and recording what it says to you and all of the rest of it is going to improve your relationship. In the same way tracking your calories might improve your relationship with food, or in the same way that being with your partner and you have to work hard in your relationship every day, then doing this on the scale is exactly the same. There's no use in hiding away. There's no use in ignoring what it says because you're always going to be wondering what if, what if, what if. And no matter what you do, it's never going to be good enough. Whether you don't step on it, that's going to cause you pain. Whether you do step on it, you read it, that's going to cause you pain because you don't understand how it works. So how about we just draw a line under all of that? How about we get on the scale each and every day? And how about we use an element of exposure therapy in order to help you overcome the feelings that can come up from it? And that's what I wanted to do with my client. And that's what we did. So here's day one. So, day one. For my client to suddenly step on the scale, commit to doing this 30-day challenge and to step on the scale and say, I'm going to do it. This is what it's going to be. And we will see what happens, is an incredibly huge step to take. One that even if the challenge wasn't as successful as she hoped, finding out how much you weigh after 2 years of never knowing is terrifying. And the fact she did it is one of the biggest wins there is. Because it was a big, brave step forward. And big, brave steps forward build confidence. So we got a result. We got a scale reading. We got what she weighed on day one. And it was this. That's it. It is what it is. Was my opinion. Her opinion was this. She texted me saying, that is the disappointing. Now, this is something that's going to crop up a lot in this video, and it's the theme of expectation. My client fully detested or was very disappointed with weighing 15 stone and 6 pounds because she expected it to be less. She expected it, at worst, as she said to me, to just be at 15. Now, this is one of the reasons the scale beats us up. It's one of the reasons we develop a bad relationship with the scale, because we always have expectations on what it's going to say. And those expectations can be both, we expect it to go up and we expect it to go down. But those expectations are generally what is going to stop you from focusing on it, and is what's going to stop you from maintaining a healthy lifestyle, living in a calorie deficit, eating nutritious foods, following the 5 awesome fat loss rules for life. Your expectation is going to kill you. It's going to kill your desire to do it. Because you don't know what goes into it. My client had no idea what constituted scale weight. She had no idea what scale weight was made up of. She had no idea what it really meant or anything. She just saw a number and was really disappointed with it. And she expected it to be lower. And then when it wasn't, that's a tough blow to take. So I replied to her and I said, look, it is what it is. It's great, let's go, it's fine. It's fine. But she just took it forward and got a little bit upset about it. And that's understandable, because after not looking at the scale for 2 years and then seeing a number that you didn't expect, that's a problem. If you have a questionable relationship with the scale, the most important thing you can do is release your expectations. Is stop thinking you know what it's going to say. Is stop thinking you want it to say this. All you need to do is just look at it, step on it, step off it, move away. Don't ever try and second guess the scale, because when you do, you'll be disappointed. And when you're disappointed, you'll get upset. And when you're upset, you'll stop working hard on yourself. And we don't want that. So let's release your expectations. And then, as you'll see, with my client, we move forward away from expectation and into more positive places. Day 2, we got this. 15.4. Now this is a very dangerous reading, because after day 1, she spent a while, she obviously spent the day looking after herself and trying to be healthy and doing her steps and the 5 awesome rules for fat loss life and all the steps we put in place, sticking within her calories. And she thinks she's done really well and everything else. And then she steps on the scale for day 2 and she gets a reading lower than the first day. Okay, understandable. However, the problem we have with this is she's now thinking that it is day-by-day feedback. She's now thinking that because she did the things you're meant to do on day 1, that's got the result to day 2. And that's not how the scale works. The scale is not this day-by-day feedback. And this is a trap that both my client and I kept falling into with this whole situation, is trying not to react, trying not to think that the measures the day before are causing a positive result the following day. The measures the day before can cause a negative effect, so it can cause a spike in the scale due to, if you ate salt, for instance, your body's going to hold on to water. If you worked out, your body's going to hold on to water. Hormonal things can affect your scale weight, and these things can cause it to go up. But in order for it to go down, it's not day-by-day feedback. And that's something that we really had to remember. Day 3. And on day 3, we got this, which is very interesting. Another day of it going down, which is fine. But the problem with that is we've now had a couple of days of consecutive weight loss. And the issue with that is you start to get seduced by it. You start to think, I got this. And either subconsciously you relax, and therefore you're not as diligent in the things you need to be diligent in order to stay within a calorie deficit. Or you have your logical brain and your emotional brain, and they're both pulling you one way and the other. Your logical brain is going, I know this can't continue. I know it's not a straight line. I know my weight will fluctuate up and down daily. That's fine. But, and it's a big but, your emotional brain will go, but what if I'm different? What if that doesn't happen to me? And the one you'll listen to is your emotional brain. And you'll start playing the what if game in your head. And you'll start seducing yourself with the idea of, oh, keep this up, next week I'll be at 14.5 stone. But whatever goes down will come up in the short term. So we have to remember that. And we see that time and time again throughout this challenge. So we looked at it, I respected it, and I was like, be careful, because it's going to go up at some point. So let's just relax and understand that. Day 4, and now we get this. So my client's now disappointed again, because it's so far away from what she had before. It's still under where she started, and it's only day 4. What's 4 days of a 30-day challenge? It's nothing. But what we're starting to see here is the roller coaster that daily scale weight is. And to demonstrate that point, I want to show you my scale readings every day for the last 34 days or so. And you can see on that, it's right here. And you can see on that just how crazy the daily fluctuations are. If that was a roller coaster, it would make me sick. This is one of the most important things that you need to learn. Weight loss is not linear. It goes up and it goes down. It goes up and it goes down. Over the 30-day period we did this challenge, I lost weight. I was in a calorie deficit and I lost weight. But there were days I gained weight quite significantly. There was one period where I gained weight for 4 or 5 days. But it goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down, stays the same, goes up, comes down. And it is very hard to get your head around, especially when you're working on it day in, day out. But I can't emphasize this point enough. It will go up, it will go down, and you just have to respect that. And the only way in which you're ever going to know if you are losing weight is if you do the process. If you get on it when it's high and you get on it the next day after it was high, because it might be lower. And then you compare on the right schedule. The roller coaster that body weight is. You must remember that this is a 30-day challenge. All I'm trying to do is see if we can keep someone in a calorie deficit for 30 days, and whether that means that they're going to lose weight from here to here. That's it. What happens in between is going to be crazy. It's going to be a roller coaster, and it's going to mess with your emotions a lot if you stay emotionally tied to it. But as you progress through it, that's not going to happen as much. So it went up, and my client was a little bit disappointed, and we just dusted ourselves off and went, tomorrow's another day. Let's go. Day 5 and day 6. And now we've got a problem, because day 4, day 5 and day 6, it hasn't changed. She's in a plateau. 3 days. And we're only 6 days into the challenge, but she feels like she's in a plateau. I got a text from her and it said this: it hasn't changed in 3 days and has done one massive drop, which then went back up. Finding it difficult right now to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I get it. I get it. Plateaus are hard because, as I said, she got seduced by that weight coming down in the early stages, and now it's stabilized. Now she thinks this is who she is, and what it does is it brings back all of that angst and all of that anxiety of, oh, it's just always going to stay the same. It's never going to change. 3 days on the trot. And when it does that, you just want it to break. You're looking at it, stepping on the scale, going, come on, change, change, change. And it doesn't. And each day you kind of hope it's going to today. Today will be the day. And it doesn't, and it doesn't. And it is hard. But, and this is a big, big but. One, it's still under where she started. And two, okay, it's not gone down. But it hasn't gone up either. And that is really important to remember. In the fitness industry, we have a habit of making plateaus sound like they're terrible, terrible, terrible things. And they're not. It's stable. So at this point, she's sustained what? £2 loss. And we're on day 6. It's less than a week, £2 loss. Frame it like that, it's suddenly great. It's better than great. I'm a proponent of £1 a week is really good progress. And we're going to get to that at the end part of the video. She's currently on £2 within 6 days. But it hasn't changed. And it makes, when it doesn't change, it makes you feel like a failure. It makes you feel very frustrated and very bound and very tight. And all those feelings from the past come hurling back. She felt stuck. She felt like she was never going to achieve it. And it took her back to how she felt about herself for the majority of her life. And that's a hard thing to deal with. A lot of people, when they come to losing weight, they will make a decision, let's lose weight. And then they will find a personal trainer, take on a better diet, do some exercise, do things that move them towards a solution. And that's a good idea. But the problem with this is if you don't address what I call the roots of fat loss, then you're always going to be fighting these emotions. And these emotions of how you used to feel are always going to win because they're habitual to you. What I mean by the roots, I mean, if you don't sort out your compassion, if you don't have empathy for yourself, if you don't forgive your past, if you don't understand that you are not a reflection of your past anymore because you're changing your behavior and you're moving forward each day, if you don't resolve all of these things, your self-love, your self-compassion, your understanding, then all the diet, exercise, and nutrition in the world just isn't going to stick. It's just not going to be sustainable for you. Even if you do lose weight in the short term, unless you learn to love yourself and you learn to work with your self and your compassion and you just accept yourself, then it will come hurling back at you. And when we hit a plateau, this is what happens. And it makes people give up because it makes them think that they are doing everything wrong again. And you're not. As you saw on my weight graph, it's crazy out there. So if you're trying to lose weight at the moment, there's many tips, tricks, and everything else I could give you. Calorie deficit, stuff. Until you fix what's in here, and you fix the way you talk to yourself, until you work really hard on that side of yourself as well, things are going to get difficult. And some great tricks for that would be, how about you give yourself self-affirmations each morning? Wake up in the morning, look at yourself in the mirror, and go, today, I love my smile. Could be that. Today, I love this little curl that's coming down my head. Today, I love the fact my ears stick out a little bit. It doesn't have to be huge. But over time, if you do it every day, do it before you step on the scale or do it after you step off the scale. If you do it every day, the things that you encompass in what you love about yourself will change, will grow, will get bigger. And you'll start giving yourself better self-talk You start to accept yourself a lot more. Another thing you could do is give gratitude each day. Say a few things that you're thankful for. And I don't mean, oh, the blue sky was amongst a gorgeous sunset and the deep amber glow that was in the sky made my feet curl with joy. I think a lot of people, when we bring up the issue of gratitude, they think that's what we need. We need them to become William Shakespeare, and we don't. All we need is for you to just say, I'm grateful for the day. I'm grateful for the fact a stranger smiled at me today. I'm grateful for the fact I got through the day. I'm grateful for the fact I'm writing this in my bed. It can be simple things. I'm grateful that I got to brush my teeth this morning. That's all. And if you really cement yourself in gratitude and self-affirmation, then you're going to find the roller coaster ride a lot easier. And you're going to start forgiving yourself a lot more when things feel like they're not changing. And that would be a massive win alongside improving your relationship with the scale. So again, it was hard for us to not slip into that. We need that instant feedback. So why don't you go and do this? Why don't you go and do this? It's just a case of relax, stay consistent. It will change. I promise you, it will change. So we put in a few things like go back to the 5 awesome rules of fat loss life. Let's sort that out. Maybe track your food a bit better. But generally, she stayed in calorie deficit and I trusted her with that. So we carried on. Day 10, we get this, which is the one and only time her weight goes above where it started in this whole 30 days. Now, this could have been a make or break moment. A third of the way in and suddenly it's gone up significantly to where she started. In her eyes, it's above where she started. But interestingly, it didn't. Interestingly, I got this text from her. Gone up, but I expect that. Wasn't in a calorie deficit yesterday, even though we know that is not going to affect it. Did drink liters, but didn't get steps in. And so it goes on. Interestingly, there's that word expect again. She expected it to go up. And now because the scale is suddenly responding to the story she is telling herself, she's okay with that. Whereas when she first stepped on the scale on day 1, the scale wasn't giving her the story that she was playing in her head. This is why moving away from expectation is so important. She should have just gone, okay, 15-7. Had a couple of days. It was on a Monday, so it was after the weekend. She'd had some alcohol at the weekend. She'd had some fun. She relaxed a little bit. They had a barbecue. All these things go into it. It's fine. Doesn't matter. But she was in a stronger place when this happened, and she was able to move on. Then a few days of normal weights, just general readings, and day 14. Now, day 14 is a significant day on a 30-day journey like this because it's the day that I'm going to sit down and actually first compare day 1 to a day to see if the calorie deficit is working and to see if we are losing weight. So on day 14, we got this. So it's 2 pounds off. 2 weeks, 2 pounds, £1 a week. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. It's great. It's great. What a great moment. And I was really chuffed with it. Was really chuffed with it. And so was she. She was fine with it. So we carried on and just kept going. Day 15, we get this, and it's starting to come down again, which is great. And something else happened on day 15, something which I want you to learn from. I'd been sharing my photos on Instagram each day, and I wanted to make sure that I was getting a real reading, a proper good reading of my weight. So I was stepping on the scale naked. I was sending these photos it was literally a photo number to my client as well. And then I got a message on Instagram going, do you realize how reflective your scales are? No, I didn't. So if you're going to weigh yourself every day and you're going to do it naked, don't share it with the world because you'll reveal a bit more than just your weight. or if you're going to share it with your trainer, just wear some pajamas. It's fine. We can live with a couple of pounds of pajamas, and I doubt pajamas even weigh that much. So don't do what I did. Don't reveal too much to the world. Then days 18, 19, and 20, we got this, this, and this, which is important because we're about to go into day 21, which is the next day of comparison. Day 21, and we get this. So it's gone back up. And it's a bit irritating because it's a comparison day. So on this schedule, I would compare day 7 to day 14, day 21. I'd look at those generally to get a rough idea. But generally I'd go day 7 to day 21, and I'd go day 1 to day 14. So we're at 15.5. So we're still under. So the calorie deficit must be working because, let's face it, anything could have made this go up. She's had 3 days of quite low readings, and now we're back at 15.5. Okay, we're still under where we started. So let's just carry on. As you can see now, all we're doing is looking at data. Our messaging and our chats are now no longer emotionally charged. They're just, it is what it is. And that's all it ever is, because it's never what it's not. And then on day 28, we got this. I was so excited. 15.1. So close, like 2 days to go for the challenge, but it's 15.1, the lowest she's recorded over this 30 days. Fantastic. And it shows that the calorie deficit has worked. 7, 14, 21, 28, 15.1. Perfect. What more could we ask for? And then we knew she was going to go into a weekend. It was her mother's birthday and things like that. So the next 2 days were going to be interesting. And what happened was it went up to 15.3 and it stayed there for days 29 and 30. So day 1, she weighed this. Day 30, she weighed this. Keeping to a calorie deficit, looking after herself, having a focus and stepping on the scale each and every day. I also think at this point it's important we look at her overall trend. How grouped together all the weights are and how it comes up and down all the way. But you can see on this graph a line that goes downwards. And that's what it's about. These are all her readings over the month that we did it. And it comes down beautifully. Yes, there's ones that go up and down. There's one anomaly which she inputted wrong. But these things happen. But look, it goes up, down, up, down, up, down. But you can see the dots generally go down. I texted her and I said, that's epic. And her response was, 3 pounds in 30 days isn't epic. Now, I've mentioned this before in the video. Expectation is going to kill your motivation. And I think in truth, my client expected a bigger result, even though I kept saying to her, £1 a week, £1 a week, £1 a week, £1 a week. And if it had finished on day 28, on the 7-day comparison cycle, and she'd have lost £5 in 4 weeks, great. But we made it a 30-day challenge, so it turned out it was only £3, and that took the edge off. And now suddenly it's £3 in 4 weeks. To me, it was an epic result. But it was nowhere near as epic as something she wrote for me for an article that I wrote on my website. It's all about your scale strategy. It was all about this, weighing yourself every single day. It's linked below. And she wrote this for me based on her experience of working with me. And she said this: to go from never knowing my weight because of what I thought it meant to me, the judgment that was wrapped up in the number and the ideas of self-disappointment, lack of confidence, and constantly feeling like a failure, to now not caring what the scale says. Literally just accepting that it's just a number and one that will mess with your head if you let it, has been such a weight lifted from my shoulders. For years, knowing there was something about me I couldn't confront because of the shame that was attached to it, it meant that I wasn't willing to admit I was ashamed of myself. The scale represented that. But now, after implementing this strategy, it's gone. All the worry and the angst. The number is just that. A number. Of course, I have goals that I want to reach, but knowing I'm doing the work each day to ensure that one day in the future it will take care of itself, and that I just have to be patient, respectful, and understand truly how it works, is life-changing. I'm no longer scared of the scale. I'm no longer ashamed. Yes, weight loss was part of this challenge, and we achieved that. Well, I didn't. My client achieved that. But really what a challenge like this is about is what she wrote. Is about conquering parts of yourself that make you feel fearful, that scare you. It's about getting rid of shame. It's about working on yourself. And if that's not an epic result, to be able to get to that point after 30 days of weighing yourself every day, then I don't know what is. Luckily, I'll have a second video for you because we've decided to carry on and we're going to do 60 days and see what happens in 60 days. But weighing yourself every day keeps you more accountable. It has proven time and time again that the weight can come off slowly and it will help you keep it off. It also improves your relationship with the scale and it will help you conquer something that you might have never thought of before. It's scary at first, yes. But if you feel ashamed, if you want a better relationship with the scale, then I recommend that you give it a go. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please put them below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you for part 2 when we get it done. Ciao.